The 30 Years' War, raging from 1618 to 1648, was one of the most brutal and devastating conflicts in European history. It involved a series of wars fought primarily in Central Europe, and its impact was felt across the entire continent. It began as a localized religious struggle in the heart of the Holy Roman Empire, initially sparked by tensions between Protestant and Catholic states. These religious disputes quickly escalated into a broader political and territorial conflict. However, it quickly spiraled into a continent-wide conflagration, drawing in major powers like France, Sweden, Spain, and Denmark. These nations saw an opportunity to expand their influence and power, leading to a complex web of alliances and enmities. For 3 decades, the war ravaged Central Europe, leaving a trail of unimaginable destruction, famine, and disease. Entire villages were wiped out, and the population of some regions was decimated, forever altering the political and religious landscape. It marked a turning point in European history, signaling the end of an era dominated by religious strife and ushering in a new age of emerging nation-states. The Peace of Westphalia, which ended the war, laid the groundwork for the modern system of sovereign states and changed the course of European politics forever. To understand the eruption of the 30 Years' War, we must delve into the complex web of religious and political tensions simmering within the Holy Roman Empire. The Peace of Augsburg, signed in 1555, had attempted to establish a fragile religious peace within the empire. It decreed that the religion of the ruler would dictate the religion of their subjects, a principle of cuius regio, eius religio. However, this agreement proved to be a temporary truce, as tensions continued to simmer between the Catholic and Protestant factions. In 1618, the simmering tensions in the Holy Roman Empire finally boiled over in the city of Prague, a place already fraught with religious and political unrest. The Habsburg Emperor Ferdinand II, a staunch Catholic, sought to consolidate his power and curb the spread of Protestantism within his domains. His policies were seen as oppressive by many. This move was met with fierce resistance from the Protestant Bohemian nobility, who felt their religious freedoms were under threat. The conflict reached a boiling point on May 23, 1618, with the infamous Defenestration of Prague. This event was a dramatic and violent protest. Protestant nobles, angered by the emperor's actions, threw 2 of his Catholic regents and a secretary out of a window in Prague Castle. Miraculously, they survived the fall. This act of defiance is widely considered the spark that ignited the 30 Years' War, a devastating conflict that would engulf Europe for 3 decades, reshaping its political and religious landscape forever. The Defenestration of Prague was a watershed moment, transforming a local rebellion into a continental war. This dramatic event, where 2 Catholic officials were thrown out of a castle window, ignited the flames of conflict that would engulf Europe for decades. As the conflict escalated, other European powers, driven by a mix of religious and political motivations, were drawn into the fray. The war's complexity grew as alliances shifted and new players entered the stage, each with their own agendas and ambitions. Denmark, under King Christian IV, intervened on behalf of the Protestant cause. His involvement marked a significant escalation, as Danish forces clashed with the Catholic League, hoping to protect Protestant interests and expand Danish influence. Sweden, led by the ambitious King Gustavus Adolphus, joined the war in 1630, seeking to expand Swedish influence and champion Protestant interests. Gustavus Adolphus, known for his military prowess, brought new tactics and energy to the Protestant side. France, under Cardinal Richelieu, saw an opportunity to weaken its Habsburg rivals and entered the conflict on the side of the Protestants, despite being a Catholic nation. Richelieu's strategic vision aimed to shift the balance of power in Europe, ensuring France's dominance. The 30 Years' War was a period of unimaginable suffering for the people of Central Europe. The constant movement of armies, coupled with disease and famine, decimated the population. Villages were looted and burned, fields were laid waste, and entire regions were depopulated. The war brought about a collapse of social order as marauding armies terrorized civilians and left destruction in their wake. the conflict's brutality is etched in the annals of history as a stark reminder of the human cost of religious and political fanaticism. After 3 decades of bloodshed, the warring parties finally agreed to peace negotiations. The resulting Treaty of Westphalia, signed in 1648, marked the end of the 30 Years' War and ushered in a new era in European history. The treaty recognized the principle of religious tolerance, granting Calvinists legal recognition alongside Catholics and Lutherans. It reaffirmed the Peace of Augsburg's principle of cuius regio, eius religio, but with greater protections for religious minorities. The treaty also significantly altered the political landscape of Europe, weakening the Holy Roman Empire and strengthening the power of France and Sweden. The Treaty of Westphalia had far-reaching consequences for the political order of Europe. It marked a definitive shift from the old feudal order to a system of sovereign nation-states. The treaty recognized the independence of the Swiss Confederation and the United Provinces of the Netherlands, further fragmenting the Holy Roman Empire. France emerged from the war as the dominant power in continental Europe, while the Habsburgs were significantly weakened. The treaty laid the groundwork for a new balance of power in Europe, one based on the concept of state sovereignty and non-interference in the internal affairs of other nations. The 30 Years' War casts a long shadow over European history. It was a defining moment that reshaped the continent's religious, political, and social landscape. The war highlighted the dangers of religious intolerance and the devastating consequences of unchecked political ambition. It also, however, paved the way for a new era of religious pluralism and the emergence of a modern state system based on the principles of sovereignty and international law. The lessons learned from this brutal conflict continue to resonate today, reminding us of the importance of tolerance, diplomacy, and the pursuit of peace.